Okay, time for another speed draft with me, Kim, and let's dive into the pack. Ooh, some good cards: Clear Shot, Faith Unbroken, Vexing Scuttler, Galvanic Bombardment. Yeah, hype. But I want to try out Clear Shot since the few times I've played green I have not had much removal. And Somberwald Stag is, could be a creature and removal, but I guess worst case it's like a 5 mana removal in green, which is fine. Otherwise, there's like Drag Under, Bracing Wolf, and Subjugate Angel. Yeah, good cards, but nice to stay in one color if I can. Ooh, okay. A very late Flying Bomb in Doesn't of Perfection. Obviously good when you have a lot of instants and sorceries, but no matter, even if you have 0, the card is fantastic. So, feels like I'm going to get past a lot of blue. Maybe then I'll take Drag Under, which is both good together with Doesn't, and it's just a good bounce spell that draws you a card. So, 4 really good cards so far. Here I could choose between, Faith Unbroken, I've already passed a lot of good white, so I'm going to try to keep on doing that. Hamlet Captain is fine if I get some humans, but it's still a decent 2-drop. Tattered Haunter is also good, but I don't like the fact that it can't block. Then I like it in more tempo aggro, and this so far is looking to be more mid-range. But I guess I'll play both. And perfect mid-range card, Ingenious Scab. Blue is super open. But also white. We're seeing a lot of good white cards going by, but hopefully our neighbor moves in and I can stay in this. Because so far I have 5 really good cards and a decent 2-drop that, if I pick up 4 or 5 other humans, it also triggers them. And just because of that, I might actually play Woodland Patrol, a card that I rarely put in my deck, but looks maybe better than Laboratory Brute as it sits right now. I guess if I get Spontaneous Mutation and stuff like that, maybe I'd rather have a Brute. But the Cultist is actually human, and it's good if I get random emerge creatures later. And I actually do like the card Lupine Prototype. We'll put it in the sideboard and see. It's obviously better if you can empty out your hand pretty fast. But there are decks for it, so we'll see. And I guess I'll take just a green card, just so it's few cards left when the pack starts to empty out. And Spontaneous Mutation is a late playable. And I can probably get cards into my graveyard even without that zombie we saw. And here again, just passing the super clear white signal to our left, so that if they haven't seen it already, maybe they pick up on the fact that white is open. Fogwalker is a card I don't really like, but I guess it's a decent filler if you're like building up to a late game or something. Hoping to play better cards, obviously. But we got a lot of good playables, and Warfield Infiltrator is actually a fine 2-drop, and it's also a human actually. But though in this case, I guess Skulk, you want it to be small. But Savage Alliance, Choking Restraints, Scrapper with the Past, Galvanic Bombardment. But Warfield Infiltrator is good, and even when you're mana screwed, you can get that to produce 3/2s each turn just by discarding a creature and paying 2. So then you can, instead of just throwing away your expensive stuff, you can actually get value from them. So I like that. Here, I have an Exultant Cultist, so I could take there's Geist-Fueled Scarecrow, Itto the Horrid Swarm. I like the Scarecrow. I don't love it when I have 5 drops I really want to play, but I do think it's best out of those. Wretchgriff is actually pretty perfect since we have already a Cultist, and yeah, I like the flying and I like drawing a card. And Primal Druid would be fine, but I think we need some more removal. We have Clear Shot and I guess Bounce and Spontaneous, but Prey Upon seems pretty good with Ingenious Scab and big creatures like Docent and whatever. And I guess we'll take another Prey Upon. And maybe this can be like the blue-green mid-range deck with a lot of good removal. Blue-green, the I don't really like blue-green emerge because you have to wait. I mean, pick both emerge and enablers, and then you often miss out on the few removal spells. But in this pod, there's actually been. I mean, I first picked a clear shot, and then we got some late prey upons, and yeah, looks like we have decent removal already. Since we also have the Somberwald Stag, but I mean, this is not the case for each blue and green deck. They usually lack removal, I think. Maniac if I was more into Emerge, but I'd rather just play a Survivalist. I mean, a Beefer on the curve, and I mean, we could get Delirium. We're in green and blue, two colors that are pretty good at getting Delirium. Could play like a Grapple or maybe a Vessel, and yeah, stuff like that. The Patrol, I mean, we already have, I guess, some other humans. Tangleclaw Werewolf is a card I like. When you get it to flip, it can win games by itself, and it's a good blocker. And I mean, otherwise, I had a Delirium card or a Grapple to choose from. Pretty weak pack. I guess I just take a Madness Enabler. I don't really love the Permeating Mass. Could take maybe another Emerge guy. I mean, It of the Horrid Swarm is basically like the backup, but I mean, playing one is fine. And we also got a Brute that goes with the mutation, and I guess with the small Delirium theme we have in Backwards Survivalist for now. Swift Spinner for the sideboard, I think. So pack 2, still fine. I mean, it wasn't as good as pack 1, but I guess it shouldn't be. I mean, we're getting fed from another direction now. But still, I mean, we already have like 18 good cards, I think, and some decent fillers in the sideboard as well. Traverse, I mean, don't there's like Jesus Scrutiny, but Traverse I like because we can go find the Docent of Perfection if we don't already have played it. And with a good bomb like the Docent, I really like Traverse. And I do think that we have some self-mill going already with Infiltrator and Brute. And we have some instants and sorceries that will go through graveyard as well. And for that reason, I mean, this is like a pick between a Scrutiny and a Vessel. And I could just play like one Vessel. With cards like Traverse and Vessel of Nascency, we also have the way of getting out, I mean, finding a way out of a Mana Screw or even a Flood, since we might be able to traverse for a creature or Vessel and find a creature. And yeah, we're getting paid off even in the last pack. Not common for this format, I think. The last pack is usually pretty weak because I don't really think that they have managed to get all the color combinations to bridge well over between Eldritch Moon and Shadows. I think there are some color combinations that work fine and some of them are a bit weird together. Yeah, we already have 22 cards. Might not want to play. I mean, I don't know. We have the Lupine Pro. I mean, with all the fight cards, we have Prey Upon, Rabid Bite, Clear Shot. I might even consider the Lupine Prototype. I think that card is better than a lot of other people, I think. Woodland Stream. I mean, I don't want to play a second Vessel, I don't think. Provisioner is fine, but I already have a lot of late drops. So just having good mana and good filtering makes it more possible for me to get to the late game, which I think already is pretty good with Griff, Docent, Stag, Tangleclaw, Werewolf, and Backwoods Survivalist, etc. So yeah, I can waste a pick on that. Now it's more like the Shadows pack usually looks. I mean, picking between nothing and nothing. But still, we got some good playables, and I think that actually, if I don't get a really good card, I might play Prototype as my 23rd here. Yeah, and again, not much. I'm not going to play Weirding Wood, we don't have a splash, and I don't really have to the ramp, because, I mean, the curve basically ends at 5. Yeah, no, I mean, we had some decent picks, but now there's nothing left. So, I mean, I like the prototype because even though it can, might not be able to attack or block for a few turns, it can still fight. And even a card like Prey Upon together with Lupine Prototype sounds pretty sweet, actually. I mean, we don't have to do much. We could start off with an Infiltrator or a Duskwatch Recruiter early if we're lucky. Otherwise, I guess our curve basically starts at 3 and moves up to 4 and 5. And we take the Vessel, but I don't think we're going to play it. We already have one, and we have the Traverse. We'll see. We might. Doesn't feel like we really need to push for Delirium. It's just a random upside, I guess, with the Survivalist and the Traverse. I think I like most of the creatures. Maybe the Scarecrow is a bit off, since we have some 5-drops I would really like to play on curve. The Scarecrow is better in creature light decks, I think, like blue-red. So I might consider to take that out. This is 24, and that's one too many, I think. And otherwise I like the creatures. So how does this look? And for curve considerations and the actual being a human, maybe Woodland Patrol could get in there. It would be on Scarecrows. I mean, cutting the Scarecrow for the patrol. Maybe. Then we have 4 2-drops, 4 3-drops, 3 4-drops, and 2 5-drops. That curve looks better, I think. I do want to keep, obviously, the Clear Shot, Rabbit Bite, Drag Under, and the Prey Upons, and the Mutation. I mean, we have some ways now with both Vessel, Lab Brute, I mean, the Wharf Infiltrator, and I guess, I mean, the actual instants and sources to fill up the graveyard. So maybe just making the curve look better is the right to do here. Yeah, I actually like this. And I'm going to keep the prototype and see how good it is with all the fight spells. I mean, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 good fight spells to work with. Seems decent. And we have good removal if we're also counting the Stag. We have some evasion in Docent and Griff. The Eternal Scourge can be annoying to play against since it comes back all the time. Duskwatch Recruiter, obviously good in any deck with creatures. And I like Wharf Infiltrator also. Yeah. This, I mean, is probably fine. There are some cards in the sideboard that could be up for discussion, but I think I'll try this. And then we have 10-8 with mana also, which seems like it's good mana, good filtering, and good creatures. So we'll try this. See you for a match.